Summer break is not 90 days off. It's 90 days that decide who shows up to your life in September. Last summer, I told myself I'd get ahead. I watched 40 hours of YouTube instead. I opened my laptop 4 times to start and closed it 4 times, feeling worse than before. And when September hit, I was exactly where I left off in May, except everyone around me had somehow leveled up. This year, I'm not letting that happen again, and I built a full 90-day system to make sure of it. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing, but not yet. First, you need to understand why summer break is actually the single most dangerous 90 days of your entire year. Here, quote S, the thing nobody tells you. Summer isn't neutral. It's not a pause button. It's either the biggest compounding win of your year or the biggest silent loss. And there's almost no in-dash between. Because here's what's actually happening while you're relaxing. The version of you that studies daily, reads daily, moves their body daily, that version starts to disappear. Not overnight, just quietly, one skipped day at a time. And by August, getting back to that version feels impossible. Not because you're lazy, because the habit is gone. And rebuilding a habit from zero is 10 times harder than maintaining one. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you the exact 90-day roadmap, the 3 phases, the daily non-negotiable, and the one rule that makes this whole thing actually stick past week 2, unlike literally every summer glow-up plan you've screenshotted and never opened again. But you need the reason behind the plan first, because a plan without the reason is just another Pinterest board you'll abandon. 2 summers ago, I made a vision. I wrote, read 12 books, learn Python, get fit, in my Notes app on June 1st. By June 9th, I hadn't opened a single. By July, I'd forgotten the Notes app existed. It wasn't that I didn't want it. I wanted it badly. I just had zero structure holding the wanting up. So the second real life got boring or hard, the whole thing collapsed. Here quotes the number that reframed my whole approach. Real behavior change research keeps landing in the same, somewhere between 2 and 3 months for a new habit to start feeling automatic instead of not 21 days, not a glow up week, roughly 90 days. Which means summer break isn't just some time off. It's almost the exact length of window your brain needs to build something that actually holds. That's not a coincidence I'm using for a catchy It's the actual biological reason this works. But here's the catch. It only works if the 90 days a shape. Random effort spread across summer does not. Structured effort compounds. So let's be honest about what's actually competing for your summer right now. It's not laziness. It's the total absence of external structure. No teachers, no class schedule, no deadlines forcing your hand. For 9 months a year, structure is handed to you. For these 90 days, you have to build your own. And most people have literally never had to do that before. That's why 90% of summer goals die by week 2. Not a motivation problem, a design problem. You're trying to run a marathon with no course markers. Here, quote S, what happens around day 10 to 14 if you don't plan. The initial motivation wears off. The novelty's gone. And if your plan was just try hard every day, that's the exact moment it falls apart. Because trying hard was never a system. It was a feeling, and feelings run out. I quote, we talked to hundreds of students building. The ones who actually finish a summer transformation didn't rely on motivation too. They built something that didn't need it. That quote S, the whole difference between the people who post a day 1 of my glow up video that vanishes by day 9 and the people who show up in September actually changed. I quote, am going to hand you the entire 90-day map. 3 distinct phases, what to actually do in each one, and the single daily habit that's non-negotiable no matter what else you drop. But first, you need to see the actual structure that makes day 14 a non-issue. Because there's one design, the thing almost every summer challenge on this platform skips, that decides whether you're still going on day 60 or whether you quietly gave up somewhere around the 4th of July and never told anyone. Last year, I actually made it to day 11 before I fell. I know that because I still had the Notes app open. A little log, day 1 through day 11, then nothing, just blank. I didn't fall off because I fell off because my plan for day 12 was identical to my plan for day 1. Same intensity, same expectations, no adjustment. It assumed I'd feel exactly as motivated on a random Tuesday in week 2 as I did on the excited first morning of summer. Nobody does. I rebuilt the entire challenge that one failure. 3 phases instead of one flat night. And the difference in how it actually felt to follow was night and day. Stay with me. Because phase 1 alone is the reason day 14 stopped being a graveyard. Okay. Here's the full 90-day system. 3 phases, 30 days each, and one rule underneath all of them that holds the whole thing together. The first 30 days are not about intensity, they're about proof. Your only job is to show your brain that the new version of you is reliable, impressive, reliable. So phase 1 is deliberately small. 1 study or skill building block a day, capped at 45. 1 page of reading a day, minimum. 1 20-minute. That's it. Not because you're not capable of more. because if day 3 asks the same of you as day 30 should, you'll burn out before the habit even sets. The entire goal of phase 1 is a single, unbroken chain of small wins. Nothing else matters yet. By day 30, the small habit isn't hard anymore. It's just what you do. That's your signal to expand. Not by adding intensity to the same task, but by adding range. Days 31 through 60 are where you extend the study block from 45 minutes to 90. Add a second skill, a language, a coding track, a certification, whatever your actual goal is, and start layering in real output, a project, a portfolio piece, practice, whatever proves the work had. This is also exactly where the day 14 style collapse tries to happen again, now around day 40 to 45. The fix is the same one that got you through phase 1. When motivation dips, you don't increase effort, you protect the floor. On your worst days in phase 2, you're allowed to drop back to the small phase 1 version of the habit, 20 minutes instead of 90, but you are never allowed to skip to 0. 0 is the only real failure state in this whole system. Days 61 through 90 are the phase almost nobody plans, and it's the one that actually determines whether September looks different or whether this was just a nice 60 days that quietly ended. Phase 3 isn't about doing more. It's about proving it in public. In the final 30 days, the habit itself is basically automatic, so the new job is converting it into something visible. Finish the project. Sit the practice exam under real-time pressure. Post the portfolio. Teach what you learned to one other person, out loud, without your notes. Here quote S. Why this matters more than it sounds. A habit that's only ever been private is fragile. The second real life gets busy, and private habits are the first thing to quietly disappear because nobody would even notice if they did. A habit that's been proven publicly, a finished project, a past test, a thing someone else has seen, has stakes now. It's harder to die. Here, quote, assist the thing I need you to act. You don't need a harder plan. You need a plan with a shape. Small first, wider second, proven third. Because that shape matches how motivation actually behaves over 90 days. Instead of pretending you'll feel like day 1 you on day 5. And underneath all 3 phases, the one rule that makes it all hold. Protect the floor, never the ceiling. It's fine to have a bad day and do the minimum version. It is never fine to do nothing. The floor is what turns "I tried a summer challenge once" into "I actually changed." I'm on day 34 of this exact system right now, filming this in the middle of phase 2. Not because I finished and I'm looking back, because I built it to actually survive being filmed mid-process. Mistakes included. Last year's version of me had an empty notes app by day 12. This year, on day 12, I had a bad day. Genuinely didn't feel like, and I did the 20-minute floor version instead of the full block. That's it. That's the whole difference between finishing and quitting. Not more willpower. A plan that expected the bad day and had a rule ready for it. If you're starting your own 90 days right now, comment phase 1. And I'll send you the actual day-by-day breakdown I'm using. All 3 phases, laid out, free. And if you know someone who made a summer glow-up post last year that quietly disappeared by July, like I did, send them this one. Not another motivational video, this one. Because the thing that actually gets someone through 90 days isn't hype. It quotas a floor they're not allowed to fall through.